teacher, Sugar and Spice, were with me. They were very, very mad that I made them do that for that few second photo shot, and now they're running away. Hi, how are you guys? It is a beautiful rainy day, and in honor of that, since we're inside, I wanted to actually do a yin class today, just to change things up a little and do some yin. So I will be, of course, channeling my very dear, wonderful friend, mentor, and teacher, Jason. He's definitely been my yin guru these past few years. And so I'm very grateful to him for all that I've learned from him, and most of what you see today is going to be in credit to his wisdom. We are going to need some props. Yin is a prop-oriented practice. So if you don't have props, then be creative with what you could maybe use instead. We're going to be needing 2 blocks. So if you don't have blocks, maybe thick books, something like that. And you might want a strap. Just depends on your leg flexibility. But if you do, just find a piece of rope, a shoelace, I don't know, something that you could maybe use as a strap. And the bolster, if you don't have a good bolster, perhaps a pillow or a rolled up blanket or towel could work just fine. So those are just a few of the props you might need if you want to pause things and go try and makeshift a little prop supply. Go ahead. And I would like to talk for just 1 second before we start about what yin is. It's very different than a restorative class. People often get those 2 things confused. Restorative is really honestly just about resting and restoring, taking very comforting positions and just finding some peace and comfort and restoring yourself. Yin is more about deeper stretches and actually releasing fascia within the muscles. We will talk more about that as we're holding postures. One thing that yin and restorative have in common is it's almost all on the floor using props, and it's very long held postures. We will be holding each posture about 3 to 5 minutes. So very long held postures, and I'll talk more about the science of that as we're holding the postures to help the time pass. Let's start off with a little warm-up. I always believe in kind of warming up the body and getting a few things flowing before we settle into a more yin. So everybody just stand up. We'll take some sun breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. 1 more. Good. In honor of the rain, let's do a little rain dance. Just kind of getting the blood flowing. Imagine rain is just cleaning you out, washing through. It's always good to warm up the body before we settle into the deeper stretches. Alright, and let's take a lightning pose, because hopefully you're going to get some lightning tonight. That's what they're promising us. So I want you flexing your arms. Imagine beams of light shining through your fingers. You can even make sound effects if you want. And open up your heart. Keep breathing. Okay, for those of you who want a balance challenge, remember, feel free to use the wall if you want to. We're going to come from here to a little warrior 3. I've got a bookshelf in my way, but I'm managing it. Okay, for more advanced students, you feel free to come into standing splits from here. Good. Come out. Let's take it the other way. Make beams of light shine through your fingers. Lightning pose. Good. Come into your warrior 3. I'm reaching for my plant, for my Dracaena. Good. Okay, come into standing splits. Good. Come on out. Do a little gathering goddess. Inhale. Exhale. Now this, by the way, is not yin. This is definitely more yang movements. We're warming up the body. We're getting the blood flowing. Very important before we settle into those deeper floor stretches. Good. Let's warm up the upper body and core. We'll take 6 little push-ups. You can do these on your knees, or you can take the full form. Two more. Good. And then take a child's pose. Relax into the floor. Good. You've done your warm-up. Beautiful. So, We're going to start off with our first long held yin posture. You may want your blocks or block substitutes for this. We're going to come into dragon's pose. Now this is nobody's favorite pose. It's a very, very deep stretch. And something Jason often says, if you want to know the difference between a yin posture and a restorative posture, come into this and see if this feels restorative to you. So you're going to take your right leg forward. You can use your block and come into your dragon pose. For those of you who don't need the block, feel free to come onto your hands. For those of you who are super flexible in your thighs, you can even try coming down onto your elbows. So we're going to be holding this for a good 3 minutes. That's a long time. And so during this time, I want to talk a little bit about the 3 principles of yin. The first principle is find your edge. So you're going to find that really beautiful, amazing point where you are definitely feeling something. You're feeling some deep sensation. It's maybe a little uncomfortable, a little achy, but you are not harming yourself. You're not going past that point into actual hurting. You're practicing non-harming. So it's that kind of Goldilocks point between the two. And that is where we practice real intuition with our bodies. So you're 1 minute into this. If you need to come out, go ahead, right? Listen to your own body. That's by my stopwatch. You need to be your own guru and come out. I'm not there, I can't see you if you're struggling. If you're actually in pain, then come out. If what you're feeling instead, though, is just a bunch of deep sensation, then see if you can use me and my little watch as the ultimate prop here, and see if you can kind of see what's on the other end of that sensation. What's on the other end of that uncomfortableness if you actually don't respond to it right now, and see if you can kind of sit with it, breathe through it, right? It's okay to be a little uncomfortable sometimes. See what peace of mind might come from accepting it. We've only got 1 minute left, so this is a good time to check in with yourself. If you're not feeling anything, go a little bit deeper. If you're feeling too much, back out. So, right now is a good point to talk about the second principle of yin, which is hold for time. And I'm the one keeping track for you, but again, you're your own guru. You need to decide when you actually need to come out of this posture. And the holding for time it's a way to allow the deeper connective tissues between the muscles to actually release in a deeper way than they do when you're moving through these postures faster. You've made it through 3 minutes, congratulations. Sit back, give yourself a counter pose, a little half split, shake out that leg. Shake out the ghost. Counter poses are a very important part of yin. It's a way to kind of shake out the ghost of those long holds. Good. Take whatever other little counter pose or stretch you need. And let's take the other way. So the third principle of yin is maintain stillness. And I'm not doing a very good job of that because I'm trying to talk while I do this. But maintain calm and stillness, right? And that's kind of what allows the long held time to do its magic, to do its work, if you actually remain still and allow the muscles to kind of ease into these shapes. So now I want to talk about why we put ourselves through this, why we practice yin. Because those deep, intense yang workouts that we do, whether we run or do power yoga or whatever we do, those are very important. They build up muscle, they build up endurance, but what they do is they strengthen the muscle, right? Sometimes the body muscles, when we're doing cardio, it strengthens the heart. And we need to actually continue to work out and strengthen and stretch the deeper fascia around the tissues, the connective tissues, which are there to protect the muscles. So we have a fascia around the muscles that are there to protect the muscles, because muscles themselves are very, very soft and they are very malleable. You guys have 1 minute left, so check in with yourself, right? If you need to back out, do it. If you need to go deeper, do it. So we have this fascia around the muscles that are there to protect the muscles, and they need to be strengthened too. That's why athletes who push themselves all the time and don't do these long held yin stretches need some are often injured because they're working the muscles without strengthening, protecting, and stretching the fascia that actually protect the muscles. You guys have done this side, congratulations. You survived dragon, give yourself a counter pose. Shake out that foot. Okay, so we're coming now into a Sphinx. So I'm going to encourage you to come down onto your elbows or coming into a back bend here. Use your elbows to give yourself a deep back bend. Now, Sphinx is a very intense lower back stretch. It is not supposed to be straining on your neck. I know your head is heavy. So if you need to, drop your head. If you need to put your block or block substitute under your head, support that, go ahead. So this fascia that's around the muscles, the deeper connective tissues that protect and layer the muscles, they're much harder than muscle fiber. Muscle fiber is very soft, and so it doesn't take much to kind of tear and strengthen and stretch it. You can do that very quickly through quick motions. The fascia is it's almost halfway between muscles and bones. It's much harder. So it takes much longer for it to actually release and to stretch or strengthen, which is why when that's what we're working out, we need to hold these postures quite a bit longer than we would in an active flow, because we're actually trying to get into those deeper, harder connective tissues. So that's why I'm making you hold these for as long as I am, because it allows the connective tissues to release over time. We're using time as an element to allow that to happen. And speaking of which, you've only got a minute left in the Sphinx pose. You guys are doing amazing. Keep breathing through this. If you need to use the block under your head, go ahead. Yin was actually originally invented by a wonderful teacher years ago when she was doing a lot of very active power yoga, and she actually injured herself. She injured her back. She snapped her back, actually. And so she got into this practice of learning, she studied anatomy and physiology very heavily after that and started to learn about this connective layer of fascia that protects the muscles and how important it is to stretch and strengthen them, so that when we do more active things, we actually have a layer to protect ourselves around those muscles. But stretching and strengthening those deeper connective tissues it takes patience. It takes a lot of patience. And so that's part of the work too, is learning to be with the moment, learning to be with the stillness, with the uncomfortableness, and just breathe through it and notice that you don't have to react to every sensation. Be curious about it, like a little kid. What is that sensation? What is making me want to come out of this sooner than I actually think I should? What is urging me into restlessness? Is it really my mind that's restless, or is it my body? Keep in mind that another famous teacher, Iyengar, always said that the pose really starts the minute you want to come out of it. So if this pose has started and you want to come out of it, good news, we're coming out. Take your feet together, knees apart. Give yourself a child's pose just to even out your spine. This is your counter pose here. And then calm down onto your backs. We'll take a little integration. We won't hold this just quite as long. We'll hold this maybe a minute. We're going to come into cat pulling its tail. So take your right leg, take it over to the side and grab that back left foot and look over that side for a little twist. This is where your strap might come in handy. If you cannot reach that foot, then go ahead and use the strap. If you need to. If you don't, then don't worry about it. I'm doing cat pulling its tail in honor of my cats that ran away earlier. So, twist or detoxify. This is our first twist of the day. This is a chance to just let something go, something you're holding on to that's not serving you, that you would like to release. And just allow the beautiful sound of your breath to comfort you right now. Right? See if you can quiet your mind as you quiet your body. The difficult thing about Yin really is mental, because when our bodies get quiet and still, our minds start to race. We start thinking about our to-do list, we start having angry, judgmental thoughts about ourselves or our teacher or someone else in the room or someone else we had a conversation with that day. We start ruminating over arguments. We start thinking about past resentments or maybe things we're embarrassed about. But you know what? It's over. This moment is all that you have. So be here now. Really be here with the sensation. Good. Come on out. Give yourself a counter pose. Take your knees in one direction and then the other. So the thing about deep sensation is our ego doesn't like it. Our ego wants to run from it. So we start making plans, right? We start thinking about, we're taking this to the other side, by the way. So come over to the other side. I'm hitting the wall. It's okay. Grab your back foot. I'm just trying to still stay on the camera. We start running away. We start leaving the room. We start thinking, what am I having for dinner that night? Or we start thinking about that last email we just sent. Or whatever it is we're worrying about or planning for or excited about. And the real secret to Yin is to keep reminding yourself, like, thank you for that little comment, but I'm doing yoga now. I'm going to be here in this moment. I'm going to let go of those other thoughts. They can all wait until later. Be here. There's my doggie. She decided to make a cameo. Hello, doggie. Good girl. That's Ginger, everybody. Good. Come on up. Take your knees in a circle. The little love of my life, Ginger. She is going to be 8 years old on Sunday while we're doing a special video in honor of her. All right, come on up. Okay, our last long-held posture. I'm going to take a restorative fish pose, a yin-style fish pose. So you can use your block if you want, or you can use the bolster. So you have several choices here. If you're using the bolster or blanket, place it at your hips and just simply lie down on this and let yourself get a deep shoulder stretch, heart opener. If this is not quite enough for you and you want more sensation, take your 2 blocks. Place one between your shoulder blades and one at your head. And create a little pillow for yourself and lay down over this. If you want more still, remove the block of your head, hold the head in your hands, and give yourself a really deep shoulder opener. Now, some people, dropping their head this much makes them anxious or dizzy. If that's you, then come on out right now and take a different choice. Keep breathing. So remember, find your edge, maintain stillness, and hold for time. I can see the rain and the trees blowing out my window. Beautiful reminder to be in this moment and not try and run from what's around me. Try not to leave the room right now. Try and just close your eyes and be here. Slowly come out, remove the block. In honor of Ginger, we'll finish off with a quick little puppy dog pose, balance out her spine. I want your knees on the ground, nice active hands. Melt your heart towards the floor. Breathe. So it's a little different to child's pose. We're raising our hips, we're melting our hearts down. Okay. Time for Shavasana. Ginger, come here. Come here. I'm gonna get her. Come here. Girl. If you have some little animal to cuddle, it's highly recommended for Shavasana. Just lie still as you can. And allow your body to take in the benefits of that beautiful practice. Allow your nervous system to just ease into the floor. Allow your breath to control your heartbeat. Allow gravity to support your body. Just do nothing. stay here as long as you like. When you're about ready to come out, just gently start to wiggle your fingers and toes and wake up your nervous system. Stretch behind you and give yourself a really beautiful good morning stretch. Roll over onto your right side into a sweet little fetal position. Take a moment to thank yourself for your unique embodiment in the universe. In honor of Jason, I have to end the class by saying the universe is ecstatically joyful that you are here. Slowly seat yourself up. Place your hands to your heart. Thank you for doing some yin with me. Thank you, Jason, for teaching me all this. Thank you, Ginger, Sugar, and Spice, for co-teaching with me. And with infinite love and gratitude. Namaste.